What is going on, y'all? It's your boy Elise225. Y'all can call me Eli, whatever y'all feel comfortable with. Doesn't really matter to me. And welcome to my channel. So this is my new channel. So I also have a gaming channel, but this is my new channel where I just sit here and yap about random shit or, story times, whatnot, vlogs. But welcome to my channel anyway. So today, I have a very good story for y'all. Very interesting one. Full with a lot of events, stuff like that. But basically, this story is the time that I got laid after prom by my date. So previously I made a video on how I lost my V card, and honestly that was a really awkward video for me to make, but I still kind of got it done. I just being honest, you feel me, trying to get the best content as possible, and just y'all can learn a little bit about me, shit like that. And in the future, we have some vlogs coming and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get straight into it. So pretty much at the time, well, first let's start off with the year. So this was 2023. In the previous video, when I lost my V card, that was 2019. So this is 2023. And if y'all haven't watched the last video, go watch that one before you watch this one. But anyway, so pretty much this was 2023, and at the time, this is when pretty much I was still in high school. Yes, so I was a senior at the time, and this was kind of when some of the COVID regulations started to lift like slightly. So people were back in school in person. Obviously, you had to wear a mask. Some schools were hybrid, so like a 50-50. Sometimes you're online, sometimes you're in person, 50-50. But for me, I decided to go fully online because that's just kind of the route that I wanted to take, which I kind of regret because for the most part, I missed most of my high school experience, because back in 2019, August, that's when I had started my high school freshman year. When I was a freshman, that's when I first started high school. And so when it hit 2020, which would be around December, that's when COVID hit. And so basically after spring break, we never went back to school in terms of my high school. And it took about, I would say, like a year until people started going back in person. So I would say all the way up into my sophomore year, I was still at my high school called Langston Hughes with all my boys, all my brothers. But, I had to kind of part ways just to, I just didn't want to go to another high school because I'm from Stockton, California, and I really couldn't picture myself going to another high school other than the one that I went to, which was called Langston Hughes, more so like a prep high school or a college prep, whatever you want to call. So anyway, back on topic. So I had met this girl through a friend of mine's that went to a different high school, and I kind of just knew of this girl. And ever since freshman year, we kind of been on and off. And, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit. We were basically friends with benefits all throughout high school. And, we had our phases where we weren't talking and when we were, and, stuff like that. And pretty much, yeah, like I said, we were on and off from freshman year. And then, sophomore year, we were still sleeping with each other. Junior years, same shit. And then here comes around senior year, and we didn't go to the same high school, but we kind of still kept in touch in a sense, not like we were texting every day and shit, because for me, I don't really fly with the texting shit. Texting is not for me. But anyway, so prom comes around, senior prom. So this is about the end of the year, and I'm homeschooled at the time. I'm fully homeschooled, and pretty much everyone at this time, 2023, everyone was already back in school. I wasn't. I decided to go the homeschool route, and I was a fucking gym freak at the time. Pretty much I was in the gym 5-6 days a week. I know that's crazy, but dieting, this was the leanest I've ever been in my life. And I'll put a picture right here, but yeah, that's how I looked around this time. I was absolutely fucking shredded. I mean, I still am lean, but not as lean, because at the time I was dieting heavily, but more so of in a calorie deficit. But anyway, back on topic. So around this time, I was a fucking gym freak. Around my senior year of high school, I just kind of got all my work through my computer. But anyway, so me and Shadi, we'll use her real name. Her name's Alina. So we were pretty much friends with benefits. We kind of just, we just fucked here and there. We hung out. Honestly, her as a person, I do miss her. She was a really cool person, honestly. Down to earth, but I just childish at the time. I didn't really take it serious, nothing like that. It was kind of just us sleeping with each other, and sometimes that's just how it is. But anyway, so we were still keeping in touch, whatnot, and I had hit her up around, actually I think I had her on Instagram because she had unfollowed me back in like sophomore year after we kind of like, split part ways a bit. And then around like junior year, that's when she had like kind of got me back on social media. I've always had her number. I still do. We don't talk no more. But anyway, so long story short, I got her back on social media. I would say around 2022. And, we were still kind of seeing each other here and there. I remember bike riding to her house because I was 17 at the time. And, I didn't have a car at the time. So I remember one time I had like rode my bike to her house and we went swimming and shit in her pool, whatever. But this is sophomore year, and no, not sophomore year, excuse me, junior, when we were still like, keeping in touch and shit. COVID, like basically, well, I was still homeschooled. I was fully online. But anyway, so senior year comes around and we're still kind of talking here and there, but not too much. But anyway, so I decided to hit her up. I seen her story. And pretty much the high school called Ben Holt. There's a high school called Ben Holt, and it's in the same kind of district as the high school that I went to previously called LHA, Langston Hughes Academy. So pretty much I didn't go to this high school no more because I decided to part ways to go online. And then pretty much, so Ben Holt, they were throwing like a prom party, and honestly, I didn't really think much of it. But so pretty much Shotty's mom, Alina, the girl, my date, her mom worked at Ben Holt. And the crazy part is Alina, my date, she didn't even go to Ben Holt no more either, because I don't know when she switched high schools, but basically she went to a different high school. And for the senior prom, we didn't even go to Ben Holt. We just decided to go fucking crash the prom. So me and her, I'm texting her and shit like that. I swiped up on her story. I seen some shit about her going to prom, and I asked her, I'm like, hey, you trying to go to prom? And she was down with it. She was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't remember the exact messages, but she agreed. She was down with it. Hold on, sip of hydration. Hold on. Excuse me. Anyways, so yeah, we didn't even go to the same high school as Ben Holt. Neither of us went to that one, but we still were able to go to the prom. And I feel like the only reason why we got in is because Shadi's mom worked at Ben Holt. But anyway, so, it's getting kind of closer and closer to the time that that prom was gonna be coming around. And so I went to a online school called Connections, some bullshit like that. But basically I had to like print out like a flyer and all that and have my parents sign it and go to the Ben Holt and shit like that to make sure it was okay that I went to their prom. But anyway, so long story short, I go to prom with her. Well, it's confirmed pretty much. So we get it all squared away. Even though we didn't even go to that high school, we still got in that shit. We went to crash that shit pretty much. Even though it was pretty chill. It's not like we were like doing anything crazy, but it's like neither of us went to that high school and we still kind of got in, you know what I mean? Because, no one was on our fucking level. But honestly, the only reason why we got in was because of her mom, because she worked, I think, in the office or some shit like that. I don't know her name. But, I've met her mom many times. Really nice lady. But anyway, so pretty much the day beforehand, the day before prom, I remember waking up at like fucking 5 a.m. for some reason. I think it was just out of like my mind, a lot on my mind. And at the time I had a fucked up sleep schedule because I was homeschooled. So I had woke up at 5 a.m. the day before prom, and I was up like early as fuck. Honestly, I might have been up at like 4 a.m. I don't know. But I had got up super early, and this is December, by the way. So, you know, I get up, it's the fucking crack of dawn, and, you know, I don't really remember too much what I was doing, but I think I just made breakfast or something like that. And at the time, I had my braids in. So right now I have my hair out, you know, looking pretty fire, not gonna lie. Anyway, so at the time I used to have braids in a lot, and I had my braids in at the time, whatever. And like I said, I just remember waking up super early the day before prom, and not gonna lie, a little nervous because I didn't really get out much, to be honest. The most that I would get out was going to the gym, and that was kind of just that. And I was a fucking freak, like I said, a gym freak. I would be in there like 6 days a week, and you know, for sure one of the leanest ones in there. And I can put another pic, or actually, nah, we won't put another pic. I already showed one. Anyway, so complete gym freak. So the day beforehand, I had woke up super fucking early, whatever. And actually, I remember my mom was in Vegas at the time, and I have a stepdad. His name's Jason, and a cool dude. Anyway, so my mom and Jason, they're in, I believe it was fucking Vegas, if I can remember correctly. They went to Vegas, and so the whole week I had to the fucking neck. It was just me. And so I remember the day beforehand, and pretty much I had been just cooking for myself the whole week. And, you know, for me at the time, I was kind of on like a heavy diet and super lean. So I remember I didn't really feel my fullest. In the sense, I felt great and I looked great. But the thing is, when you're too lean, and when we're talking about lean, it's like the amount of body fat that you have. Like, so I had fucking abs, absolutely chiseled face, everything, bro, absolutely fucking shredded. But so I had, you know, made my breakfast that day or whatever, the day before prom. You know, I don't think I had did much that day. Excuse me. And then, you know, the day passes by. I think I was just chilling most of the day, you know, texting with Shotty, making sure shit was all good, and we were good to go. And, you know, I remember I had rented a suit, something like that, not necessarily a suit, but more so of like a blazer. It was like a jacket, and then I wore some jeans and some Jordans. Not really typical, not really formal, but I have my own style. So I wore like some fucking gym red 12s. Y'all probably don't know what that is, but it's like an all red Jordan. But anyway, and I wore some pants. Excuse me. I wore some jeans, and then I had my blazer on, whatever. So pretty much day beforehand, I remember around like, I would say like 6 or 7 p.m. Anyway, I wasn't supposed to be doing this, but pretty much my stepdad, he had left his car, and I wasn't supposed to be driving at the time, and I had drove it to go to the gym, which it's not that bad, but I kind of did it without consent. But anyway, so the day before prom, I just kind of spent it just chilling all day. I had went to the gym, whatever. But I remember that day before prom, I just got the gnarliest workout that I have ever got. Like, I was pumping fucking weight, but at the time, like, I was just a straight gym nerd. And I don't know why I had this kind of thought that if I went hard this day, then it would kind of equal the next day kind of going smoother, because I gymmed out super hard, which kind of backfired, because I feel like I'll go a little bit more into detail. So I had hit the gym, but a little too hard. So I had kind of worked out so fucking hard that I made myself sick damn near. So basically, when you're in a calorie deficit, it can kind of be a little iffy if you're not getting your calories back and making sure that you're fully, like, you know, that you're getting those nutrients and you're getting your protein, which I was getting my protein in, but I was at the state where I shouldn't have been cutting no more. Like, it was time for a bulk, basically, which I had, you know, hopped on a bulk like pretty frequent, like pretty soon after that. But anyway, so I had got a crazy ass workout in, and then when I come home, I kind of remember just feeling a bit off. Like, I had cooked like some steak and shit, but off in a sense, like, I felt sick. Like, I had worked out too hard. And if y'all know, if y'all like have ever, like, say you're sprinting for too long and you get sick or whatever. Basically, I just trained too hard that night and I kind of got a little sick, I would say, just more so of my head and just being exhausted because, like I said, I had woke up mad early that day. I had been up at like 5 a.m. for like absolutely no fucking reason. So anyway, Shawty hits me up, and I remember I had told her that I had the house the next, so meaning that I had the house by myself and no one was home. And I told her that I would go pick her up, and then, you know, we was gonna get freaky or whatnot, and, you know, do the nasty, you feel me, like have sex the night before though. So after I had hit the gym, I come back and then we kind of planned to link, but the thing is, I just felt so fucking off, and I regret it so heavily because I had her the night after. So basically the night after prom, we'll get there, I had got her, you know what I mean? Like I had her right where I wanted her. And, you know, we did it the next day, but pretty much the night before, I kind of missed the opportunity in a sense because of a rookie mistake. I had trained too hard. I wasn't eating enough calories, shit like that. And I don't know why the fuck I had woke up so early, but pretty much, you know, Shawty was trying to link. I told her I would pick her up, even though, like I said, I wasn't supposed to be taking my stepdad's car. But I told her that I would go pick her up. But I just remember I kind of flaked on her because, you know, I had no parents home, and I told her that I would go pick her up, and, you know, we was gonna Netflix and chill, and I'm not gonna go any further than that. But that didn't end up happening, and I remember telling her, I'm like, hey, I'm super tired. I had woke up at 5 a.m. that day, and I'm not feeling too well, so I'm gonna go to sleep. And still to this day, I regret that shit so heavily because it's kind of like a simple fix. I could have simply not have trained so hard and had a good night, even though I was so fucking locked into the gym. I wouldn't say I regret it too much, but I was very locked in the gym at the time. So pretty much I told Shawty we would link. It didn't end up happening, but let's move on to the next day. So pretty much the next day, I remember waking up kind of feeling a little bit more refreshed. You know, last night I was still bummed out, or actually I had woke up the next day being a little bummed out because I didn't take the opportunity of picking Shawty up, and then we would have got freaky at my house, which that would have been amazing. That's just me thinking back. You don't want to dwell too much in the past, but I had woke up the next day kind of with regret. And I think prom had been like set at like 7 or 8 p.m., something like that. Just whatever like a typical prom would be held around nighttime. Pretty much, I had spent my day just chilling, you know. I think I woke up pretty damn early that day too. I had a fucking crazy ass sleep schedule. Woke up early this day though, and this is the day of prom. And I just remember getting my clothes together and all that, and pretty much I had my dad pick me up, and I went to his house to get ready. You know, took my blazer and all that, my clothes, had my cologne, just everything that I needed to get ready. And pretty much I went to his place, and then I'm just getting ready and all that whatnot, getting myself together, you know, brushing my teeth and all that, you feel me, getting right. And also getting some food in, obviously, because, you know, I don't know. I had a crazy ass diet at the time, and I don't regret it. Like, this was the leanest that I have ever been, but I just had some crazy ass diet that was fucking with my mental and my body too. I was just too fucking lean, bro. I just need to put some weight on. But anyway, so next day, you know, whatever, I'm getting ready and shit like that. I'm at my dad's house, and then I finished getting ready, and then my dad takes me to her house, and her house is in a gated community. So whatever, we punch in the pin, or I punch in the pin, and then opens, fucking gate opens and shit like that. And then we drive up to her house, and pretty much it was already go time. So if I can remember correctly, I think my dad actually had met her mom or said what's up or whatnot. So I had got dropped off. I hop in her mom's car, and basically, so my date, Alina, she had 2 friends with her, and one of her friends were named, damn, it's been a long time. Maya, that's what one of her friends were named, Maya. And Maya, she was a cool chick somewhat. I didn't know her like that. She she was just kind of there because she was Alina's friend, my date. And then she had another friend, and I actually don't know her name. I think it was like Maricela, some shit like that. But anyway, so, you know, my date, Alina, her mom, you know, she drives us to the prom, which was at UOP. So if y'all ever heard of the college UOP, so basically at the campus, that's where it was held. Give me a second, hydration break. But yeah, so pretty much prom, it was held at like this like little ballroom type shit. And you know, they had some good music in there. So we had pulled up or whatever. You know, Shawty was looking good that night, bro. She had like a dress on and shit like that. She had her heels on. She was looking fucking good. And you know, honestly, I wish I had some pictures. I think her mom had took some pictures, but I never got them. That don't matter to me. But so we pull up to the prom thing, and I remember I brought a backpack with me, so they searched my bag and shit like that because it's a high school prom. They don't want people bringing alcohol and shit, and they have like their own beverages and shit like that, which is like obviously non-alcoholic because, you know, fucking, you know, it's high school, you know what I mean? Like prom doesn't ever have alcohol. But anyway, so we had get in or whatnot. They checked my bag and shit like that, and I started seeing a lot of familiar faces because, like I said, I went to Langston Hughes, and this was Ben Holt's prom, and I'm familiar with a lot of people from Ben Holt because I had went to elementary school with a lot of these people from Ben Holt. So, you know, I walk in with my shawty, we both looking good, all the eyes are on us because we don't even go to Ben Holt, and we just at the fucking prom, we just crashed that shit. And like I said, the only reason we had got in is because my date, Alina, her mom, she worked at the school, and that's probably like the only reason why we had got in. But anyway, so we get in and all that, and we're getting some weird ass like looks and shit like that, but it seemed more like jealousy, you know what I mean? Like people look at us, we looking good and shit like that. We basically a couple. We got all these fucking virgins and shit. Excuse my language, but we got all these fucking losers and all the virgins and shit that don't get no play. They just like kind of looking with envy and shit like that. But anyway, so we pull up, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, they had a pretty lit DJ. Like he had a good, like, you feel me, good soundtrack, whatever, a good playlist. But so they start playing the music and shit like that. It's lit, whatever, yada yada yada. And then pretty much, man, shit's like cloudy in my head. But honestly, we're dancing and shit, the music's playing, and then shit turns up a notch. They start playing like some good ass bangers, like good music, and then shawty starts twerking on me, and that's when it like shit got lit. Like we was turning this shit up because typically with prom, like, I mean, yeah, you're supposed to go with a date and shit like that, but this prom, it kind of seemed like not many people brought a date, but I did, and I'm sure other people did. I wasn't really paying attention to other people, but so time's passing, they're playing the music, we all getting lit to like some white girl shit like Miley Cyrus, fucking whatever bullshit. They started playing like Drake, whatever, and then they started playing some real good shit like Mac Dre, whatever. Who else? I can't really recall like any other songs, but just shit like that, like typical like lit ass music, Bay Area shit, whatever. Mac Dre they had playing. Fuck, what else? I don't know, like Future and shit, just typical like mainstream shit. But pretty much, you know, I don't remember what song they put on, but shawty was twerking on me, and I'll put a video right here. Hold on, let's put a video. So yeah, that's what it kind of looked like. I had shawty twerking all up on me, you know what I mean? Yeah, people getting lit. We was like the life of the party, and you know, as simple as having the confidence, you know what I mean? Like I pull up with my badass shawty, she twerking on me. Ain't nobody doing it like us, bro. You know what I mean? Like I just get down different. Like I'll walk in and fucking turn that shit up, you feel me? So we in there just getting turned, and it was kind of short-lived. Proms are not usually that long and shit like that. And we didn't do too much slow dancing either, because I know there's like a point where they put like that whatever typical ass, like, what's that song, Forever Young, you know what I mean, shit like that, where you start like slow dancing with your date and shit like that, your prom day. We didn't do none of that. It was mostly like kind of like a function, almost like you just there to listen to music and like the DJ's playing and shit. So anyway, after that, pretty much shit had wrapped up or whatnot, and I'm with my lady, my female Alina, and we with her two friends, Maya and I think Maricela. I don't want to mistake her name, but I think that's what the fuck her name is. But so we wrapping shit up, we go outside, and bro, tell me why her friend Maricela is driving a fucking 240SX, a Nissan 240SX. So pretty much that's like an enthusiast car. So y'all probably won't know what that is, but a 240SX is like a really like legendary car in the sense, in like the JDM like world, you know what I mean? It's like a Japanese type of car that's like used to drift and shit like that. But bro, tell me why Shawty's driving a fucking dope ass car. So like I see that that's what she was driving, and shit, I was, damn, I can't even explain. Like I was surprised. I was like, damn, like this is what you drive. But anyway, so she was my ride at the time, and I didn't have a car at the time, you know what I mean? Now I do. But anyway, so we hop in her whip, and then I think, I'm not gonna lie, they had been drinking already. So them three, so like I said, my date Alina, Maya, and the other chick, I think her name was Maricela. I swear. I hope I didn't get her name wrong. But anyway, so I think they had been drinking, because I don't drink alcohol. I only, you know, smoke a little weed here and there. That's all. But so they had been drinking or whatnot, and you feel me? We take off, and then we go to pick up my boy named Ivan. So it's kind of cloudy in my head. I'm not sure why he decided to come, but you know, it was a function going on. So pretty much like we'll refer to my boy as Boss Kush. So my boy Boss Kush, his cousins pretty much all go to Ben Holt. Like all of them went to Ben Holt, and they were like holding an after party at their land. So my boy Boss Kush, his grandma has some land, nice ass fucking like, you know, land and shit like that, where you can, it's just a nice ass piece of land, simple as that. Pretty much we go and pick up my boy Ivan. I'm with my shawty, whatever. They were fucking drinking, and then we pull up to my boy Ivan's house. He had a bottle, I forget what the fuck they was drinking, like some Don Julio or some shit. And then, you know, long story short, we pull up to the party, right? And this is where shit gets a little interesting, because I had my cart on me, my Benjamin, if you will. And, you know, that's pretty much all I was just chiefing on all night, just my Benjamin. And then we pull up to the after party pretty much, which was my boy Boss Kush, his family. They were like holding a party. And all of my bro Boss Kush, all of his cousins would go to Ben Holt, bro. Like all of them went there. Excuse me. So pretty much pull up to the party, right? I mean, honestly, it wasn't my type of environment, because it was just mostly like people just drunk and drinking. But tell me why. So I pull up with my shawty, we looking good and shit like that. But the thing is, it was a nice after party, but the thing is, this was around December and the weather wasn't the best. Number one, it was cold outside, and my shawty was in heels, and it was muddy as fuck. And I had some gym red 12s on, and they're suede. So pretty much I'm fucking up my shoes. I have mud all over my shoes, whatnot. And then shawty, like, she's in heels and shit like that, but whatever. Anyway, so they had like this tent, and then picture like a party that's like a big like white tent, and then everyone's kind of posted up at the tables in there, you know. They have like a lot of youngins up in there, people like our age at the time, because at the time I was 17. I wasn't even 18 yet. But my shawty, Alina, she was already 18, because she's a little older than me, just by a little bit. I think she was born in like 2004. I'm 05. But anyway, so we posted up with a lot of people our age, and you know, obviously they let us drink. I don't drink, but my shawty, she decides to mix liquors, and this is where shit went south. So whatever she had been drinking, I don't know what she was drinking before with her homegirls, but pretty much we pull up to the after party and she starts drinking, right? And she was mixing. And if y'all don't know what that means, it's like when you're mixing like dark and clear alcohol. And pretty much it made her sick, but we'll go into that in a bit. But anyway, so, you know, I pull up, shake it up with some of my boys. My boy Boss Kush was there, and he was with his girl that he was talking to. I don't think they was locked in, but I'm not gonna use her real name, but pretty much I think he was chopping it up with his, like, you know, the female he was fucking with, whatever, shit like that. We had a lot of people our age, but this was like kind of like the prom after party, if you will. That's what we'll call it. And I have my cart, right? And I think I pass it to my boy, we'll call him Seabass. It was either my boy Seabass or my boy Wax Wizard. So I know these are crazy ass names, but we're gonna refer to my bro as Wax Wizard. And I passed one of them my cart, and pretty much, so Boss Kush, his mom is not okay with us smoking, which I respect that. I love her to death. She's like my mom to me, honestly. But she kind of peeps that. She like catches that I passed like the Benjamin, because I had a Benjamin on me. So she peeped that I had passed like the Benjamin to one of my bros. I don't remember which one it was, but it was one of my bros. I had passed my pen, and they kind of seen that, and it was bad pretty much because they're not cool with like smoking and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? We were young and shit, whatever. Still in high school, they weren't cool with us smoking. Give me a sec, hydration break. A lot of talking. But anyway, so I had passed bro my pen, and pretty much Boss Kush's mom pulls me to the side. She's like, Eli, I seen you. She said some shit like that, like I seen you pass the vape, but she said it in a very stern way. Like, Eli, I seen you pass the vape. Like, give it to me right now. Give it to me. Like, she was like on my ass about it, which, hey, all due respect, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of came into that party a little hot, I'm not gonna lie, like, because the thing is, at the time, like, we had to be a little bit more lenient about smoking around bro's family, and I kind of came in a little too hot, I'm not gonna lie. Even though I just tried to pass the pen, but I think I was being a dumbass. I did it in the wrong place, wrong situation. But anyway, so I'm getting clapped by Boss Kush's mom, and she knew I had my pen on me. But the thing is, I'm kind of smart with it, and I used to wear shorts under my pants. So pretty much, I took my vape and I hid it in my shorts under my pants, so she couldn't find it, or she wasn't. I don't think she searched me. I don't remember, but she basically just said to give it up. I didn't fold. So thing is, I kind of regret is after that situation, shit kind of went south with me and her, because not in a bad way, but she's like my mom. Like, I love her to death, and I was kind of like being disrespectful in a sense. Like, I had got caught red-handed, and I didn't give up my vape, which, I mean, shit, who would though? Like, you don't want to, like, if someone's trying to press you to give you like whatever, they're trying to press you on some shit. Like, say you have like your cart and someone's trying to like press you to get it back or to just take it away from you. A lot of time you're gonna be like, nah, it's bad. Or some people will fold and be like, okay, like, you know, here, like, fine, whatever, like on some security shit. But me, I wasn't folding. So I'm like, no, like, I don't have anything. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have anything. And she's like, yes, you do. I seen it. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so that had happened, and I kind of feel like that, in a sense, switched the mood of the whole party, but shit was kind of wrapping up. It was getting late and shit. It was like, I would say like 10 p.m. So we had pulled up to the after party, and my shawty Alina, she was drinking a little bit, chilling with her friends and shit like that. And, you know, people just talking and shit. Nothing too crazy going on. They had music playing. But anyway, so tell me why the chick that had drove us there with the 240 SX, the nice ass car, her shit broke down. Like, it wouldn't run. I think it was something with her start plug or something like that, because we tried to jump her car and it wouldn't even jump. So pretty much we were kind of stuck there in a sense for a cool ass minute. We were just kind of posted up, just chilling. I was chilling with my boy Boss Kush, and then my date Alina, she starts getting sick. Yeah, in a sense, she drank too much, which I wasn't drinking myself. You know, I don't drink alcohol. I'm not into that shit. But honestly, she didn't even drink that much. But I think what it was is she started mixing, because she pulled up to the party and she started drinking some random shit. So my date Alina, she's posted up in the car, right? And then So Boss Kush will refer to his uncle, his Theo, as John. We'll use his real name. His name is John, and he's a car enthusiast. So pretty much he was working on Shotty's car, her 240 SX, and this is my date's friend's car. And so John, he's working on her car, and pretty much my Shotty is inside the car while this is all happening, and then I'm just posted outside like of the car, just kind of spectating with my boys. So we were just like outside posting and shit like that. And tell me why my date Alina, she starts throwing up, not in the whip, but she opens the door and then she just kind of like not like that exactly, but she just basically started throwing up, you know what I mean? Like she got sick from mixing the alcohol and shit like that. But anyway, so that had happened. Her car died and shit like that. I think we'll just refer to her as Maricela. I don't think that's her actual name. Probably is, probably not. I don't remember. And then her car dies, whatever. My day is throwing up, shit like that. It was kind of raps, but shit gets better. Shit gets better, trust me, because pretty much after she threw up, she kind of sobered up a little bit, you know what I mean? She wasn't that drunk anyway. She was holding herself together. She wasn't like sloppy drunk and shit like that. She was just chilling, but she got sick pretty quickly. And so pretty much car dies, whatnot. And then after that had happened, we realized that that car is not going anywhere. The 240 SX is cooked. And I don't know what year it was, but the 240 SX, if you look it up, it's a pretty old car. It's an enthusiast car. People use them to drift and shit, whatnot. But anyways, so my boy Boss Kush, his Theo John, he offers us a ride. So the party had already been like kind of over in a sense. And my boy Boss Kush, his mom had already kind of clapped me in a sense, like, cause she seen that I had passed bro with my vape and she wasn't fucking with that, so she tried to get it from me, whatever. That had already happened. I didn't give it up. It was all bad because, it's kind of like, in a sense, say like your parents find your vape or whatever, like say they find like some bad shit and you don't give it up or you're just like disobedient. That's kind of how it is with me and Boss Kush's mom, because she's like a mother to me. But anyway, so that had already happened and shit kind of was winding down a bit and Shotty's over here throwing up and shit. So we're like, okay, it's time to go. But the thing is, the night wasn't over. So if I can kind of give an estimate, it was about like a 10 or 11 at night. And pretty much Boss Kush, his Theo John, he's basically my Theo too, but Theo John, he decides to give me a ride. Me and my date a ride, plus her friends, because her car broke down. So pretty much it's me, my date Alina, Maya, her friend, and then Maricela, the one that has the car, and that shit broke down. So that wasn't going anywhere. So pretty much she had got the car towed the next day. But okay. Enough yap about that. So anyway, long story short, so we all hop in the car. Theo John, he's driving us back to Shawty's crib. So Shawty's crib is Alina, her crib. We going back to her crib, and like I have said in my last video, if y'all watched that one, that she had like a pretty nice ass house. And I'm from Stockton, and if y'all know, anyone watching is from Stockton, you know that the north side it has some nice houses out here. The north side is the nicer side of Stockton. So pretty much we go back to Shotty's house. My Theo John, he drops us off at the house and we go up in there, and pretty much Alina, her mom, she had like some dude over, and bro was a little oddball. But anyway, they were for solely drunk as fuck. So my Theo had dropped us off and whatnot, shit like that. Party's over. We're back at Shotty's house now, and it is go time. This is when I got laid this night, and this is when shit got real freaky. But we're not gonna go too much into the detail, but pretty much, so we walk up in the house, right? You know what I mean? I had mud all over my shoes and shit because, like I said, my boy Boss Kush, his grandma has land, and that's where the party was held. A nice ass land. It was just the weather though, because it's kind of like it had been raining or some shit, and like there was kind of just mud on the floor and shit like that. But, you know, anyway, I had walk up into Shawty's house and I had mud all over my shoes and shit, take my shoes off. I'm pissed because my shoes are fucking cooked, bro. They're good now because I had cleaned them after and shit like that. Anyway, so we walk up inside the house and Alina, her mom, has some dude over and they're both fucking shit-faced. They're drunk as fuck. And tell me why bro comes up to me and says, "You look like a rapper." And that shit was fucking hilarious because I had like my cornrows in, my braids in and shit looking good. I had fucking some nice ass jeans, except my shoes being muddy, and I had a nice ass red blazer and shit like that. But anyway, so, you know, bro's like cracking jokes and shit. Bro thinks he's funny. He's fucking shit-faced, wasted. He's like, "Hey," he was like a rapper, but in a more like kind of fucked up drunk way. And then like he had said some kind of weird shit. He's like, "Oh, you gotta take the fat one." So what he meant by this is, so it was, like I said, my date Alina, we're at her house and she brought her two friends there, Maricela and Maya. And the dude that I'm talking about, he had referred to, "You gotta take the fat," I don't know if he said fat bitch or fat girl, but he said like basically fuck the fat girl. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know her like that. I didn't say that, but I just kind of, I think I laughed or some shit. Cause you know, it's pretty typical after prom that if you're dating the girl or if, you know, y'all get down like that, you know, shit's about to get freaky after prom. We about to fuck after prom. That's just how it goes. That's like the fantasy, you know what I mean? It's like after prom night, you get laid. So that's exactly what we did. But we'll get right into it. So pretty much, pull up to the house, bro's cracking jokes and shit. Alina's mom's whatever had a dude over. He's cracking jokes and shit. He's not funny. And then pretty much I had, like I said, I took off my shoes and shit and we went into the kitchen. We chilling and they had some food. And you know, we start grubbing and shit. I think we were eating like some chicken, something that her mom had made. So we eat our food and shit, whatever. And then we finish up and not too much more happened after that. And then we went upstairs after we finished our food. And I think I still have my bag on me. Yeah, 100% I still have my bag. So I think I changed, yeah. So I started taking off my clothes and shit, you know, or changing it into like sleeping clothes. So I had like shorts on and a shirt type shit. And then, so after we eat and I change and shit, we go into, you know, oddly, we were in her sister's room. I don't know why we decided to sleep. Oh, you know why? It's because, like I said, so my date Alina, her two friends were there. And her two friends slept in her room. Me and Alina slept in her sister's room. And pretty much, this is where shit got freaky. So at this point, when we had got back to the house and after we finished eating and all that, it was about midnight. It might have been a little later than midnight, but it was getting pretty damn late, I'm not gonna lie. So we're all kind of posted up in there. Me, her, my date, and her two friends. And Maya's kind of starting to fall asleep a bit, and me and Alina, I forget what we were doing, but I think we were just kind of chilling on the bed, just talking about shit, you know what I mean, whatever, chatting it up. And then, so, basically, I forget exactly how Alina said it, my date, but she pretty much, like, in a nice way, told them to fuck off because we're about to fuck. We're about to get freaky. So, you know, Maya's over here like lightweight falling asleep and shit. So pretty much Maya and Maricela, they go to her room, Alina's room. And then, you know, real quickly, that's when shit got serious. That's when, you know, we start to have sex, you know what I mean? So they go to her room and then me and Alina are on the bed, you know what I mean? We're kind of chilling for a bit. I think we were talking about the night and stuff like that. And she was pretty much sobered up by now because she wasn't really that drunk to start with. But she did throw up from mixing because in reality, she only took like maybe 5 or 6 shots. That's a lot, but she had threw it up or whatever. We had ate food, so she was pretty sober by now. I was, you know, just pretty high because I was smoking my weed and shit like that. And then we're laying on the bed and then shit got serious. So if I can remember how it started, simply we just started kissing. But this, we had already been fucking all throughout high school. This is senior year after prom. So we know each other. We know our bodies. So pretty much, like I said, so Alina, my date, she tells her friends to fuck off. Not exactly like that, but basically she's like, leave. She didn't even say it like that. I don't remember how exactly she told them to get the fuck out, but they got the message. They left. They went to the other room, and then, we're chilling on the bed. We start kissing and stuff like that, all that good shit. And then, honestly, I'm trying to think. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever got head before, because, so we'll save this for another story, but I have a Cancun story time video that I want to tell that is kind of crazy. But anyway, that's off topic. But this is the first time that I have ever got head. But pretty much we're kissing, and then she goes directly to, just fucking topping me up. So she's topping me up. It's dark. We got the lights off. We got the music playing, and she's just topping me up. Excuse me. Sorry. I've been yapping for a long time. I've been trying to basically tell a whole story without cutting it. That's my goal here, is to be able to tell a whole story without cutting it. But back on topic. So, she's giving me the Slappy Toppy 3000. She's sucking the soul out of me, and I'm like, oh. I've never got fucking head before, so this was hitting different. So she's giving me head and shit like that. I'm getting excited. She's getting excited. You know what I mean? And then pretty much, I would say she topped me up for a good 3 or 5 minutes. I would have to say it was a good minute. She was going in double hands and everything, like a fucking vacuum. So she's going crazy on me. I'm just laying back just chilling. She's like, and then pretty much that only lasted, like I said, 5 minutes at most, because then, harder than a hammer, then shit goes down. You know what I mean? So pretty much I start hitting it from the back. So she gets in the doggy style position. We're on the bed, and then, I'm going crazy. I'm tearing that shit up. And I'm not going to go too much into detail, but I am here to provide honest and good content. But so I'm hitting it from the back, you know what I mean? She's moaning real hard. She's loving me right now. She's loving on me. She loves every fucking second of this. She's moaning hella hard. I'm hitting it from the back, doing my thing like a dog. But very quickly, I was going so crazy that the backstrokes were banging the bed against the wall. And if y'all know, if you've ever had sex on a bed before, that you can't make too much noise if people are home, especially on the bed. So the bed was hitting the wall hella hard. So I'm hitting it from the back, and all you hear is bah, 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 bah from the bed. It wasn't that loud, but it's loud enough. It's like a thump every time I thrust, pretty much. I'm hitting it from the back, bed's hitting the wall. We're like, okay, hold on, chill out. So we go to the floor and you feel me? So we kind of switched it up, honestly. We was really getting down this night. So pretty much we's on the floor now, and then pretty much I think they call it missionary. So I'm not gonna sit here and be a fucking nerd about positions and shit, but I'm start hitting it from the front pretty much. So she's laying on her back, and then I'm hitting it from the front pretty much, and I have my hand around her neck and shit like that. We was getting down. So I'm hitting it from the front now, and then I got my hand around her neck. I'm choking her hella hard, and then she's fucking loving that. She's moaning. She's like, deeper. She's telling me to go deeper. I'm like, damn, shit. So I go deeper, whatnot, shit like that. But anyway, don't want to go too much into detail. So got my hand around her neck, you know what I mean? Choking the fuck out of her, hitting it from the front. And then I'm trying to think of how we switched, because I know we went back to the bed. Oh, so this is when shit really kind of turned up a notch. So pretty much we go back to the bed, right? And pretty much I told her to sit on my face. Honestly, it'd be kind of awkward, like telling sex stories. It really is, like, it's awkward as fuck. But yeah, so I tell her, I'm like, sit on my face, and she does. I don't know what the fuck got into me, but we had already been, like I said, we had already been, you know, fucking with each other for about 4 years now. I would say like 4. Yeah, it's been about 3. So we stepping it up a notch, because in the first video that I made of losing my V card, I didn't really feel comfortable with eating her out. But on this day, I was feeling like a demon. We had the night, like, this was the fucking night. And so pretty much she sits on my face, right? And bro, she is smothering the fuck out of me because she has some cake. She has a fat ass. So, you know what I mean? Like, she's sitting on my face, and then you feel me, eating her out and shit like that. And she's loving that shit. Like, honestly, that shit tasted so good too. Like, she tasted real good. Like, it tasted like sweet. I can't even explain it. Like, you don't want to go around like putting your tongue on anyone's fucking pussy. That's the thing. But this girl right here, I already knew her, and she was clean. So she tasted super sweet. I'm eating her out and stuff like that. I'm not gonna go too much into more detail, but other than she fucking was loving it, bro. She was fucking moaning. She's like, keep going. You know what I mean? Like, she fucking was loving it. She was like, she kept telling me to lick her clit and shit like that, but I'm not gonna go any farther than that. That's like too freaked the fuck out. But anyway, yeah, sitting on my face, you know what I mean? I'm eating her out, and pretty much I was eating her out for a cool ass minute. It had to be like more than 5 minutes for sure, at least like 10 minutes. Like, I was literally enjoying that shit. Because if you're with the right girl and you know her and you guys know each other and she's clean, obviously, then that shit hits different. Because I mean, she had already been like slopping me up, you know what I mean? So I had to return the favor, you feel me? She gave me some sloppy toppy, so I had, you know, ate her out, and I love that, honestly. Only from her though, only eating her out because, you know, I had already been fucking with her, so I felt comfortable, and she was absolutely beautiful. Still miss this girl to this day, but you know, like I said in my first video, sometimes you gotta move on. We was only friends with benefits. We were basically dating, but not really. We didn't have a label on it. But so let's stay on topic though. So pretty much I finished eating her out, right? I don't know why we stopped, but yeah, okay, so we stopped because she wanted me to put it in again. She wanted to start fucking, but we tried something different. Pretty much, I don't want to get too nerdy with the positions, but it's called reverse cowgirl. So it's when basically, so she is facing like towards your feet, and then she's riding on it. So basically, I'm sitting right here, right? And the view I have is of her back. It's called reverse cowgirl, and basically you just kind of like, she just rides on it. And so we're doing reverse cowgirl now, and that honestly was the best like feeling position that I've ever like tried before, because I haven't tried too many things before other than doggy style. That shit's boring. That shit's boring as fuck. Missionary, I fuck with that. I had her in the fucking chokehold. But the reverse cowgirl, like I said, when you're doing reverse cowgirl, so pretty much you're looking at her back, and she's just kind of like basically just riding it, like twerking on it. But we're not gonna get too freaked out here. But that's what we was doing, and that shit had my eyes rolling back in my fucking head. I'm like, But anyway, so this is coming around the time that she had tapped out. She tapped out on my ass, bro, because I made her fall asleep because she was shaking. I was still ready to go. I was on go time, bro. Like, shit, like I said, the day before prom, I had been up in the gym, you feel me? Like, you know what I mean? Going crazy. This was like my gym arc. I still am in my gym arc, but I was more consistent back then. But anyway, so I was warmed the fuck up because just how much I used to work out. And shit, I made her tap out this night. And so, you know, she's riding on me, you know what I mean? I'm sitting there fucking, my eyes are rolling back and she's like, But she gets tired though, because the thing about reverse cowgirl is pretty much when she's riding on it, she's pretty much doing most of the work. That's just kind of how it goes. Pretty much you kind of meet with the thrust, but when you're doing reverse cowgirl, pretty much the girl is doing most of the work. You're not doing much, but just laying there and just, you know what I mean, experiencing it. So like I'm literally about to bust. Like she's like fucking riding on my shit hella fast and I'm about to bust, but then she gets tired. I'm like, no, don't stop. But she's like, I'm tired. But she had also been sick too. She was like throwing up and shit like that, so I don't blame her. It was a long night and it kind of by the way wrapped it up there. You know what I mean? So she was riding on my shit for a cool minute and then she just she's like, I'm tired, like, you know what I mean? So I just, you know, I wasn't gonna force her to keep going. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's weird. So we stop and then she's shaking. Her legs are literally shaking. You know you did a good job when she's shaking. Like damn near like I think I made her fucking like climax, whatever the fuck you call that, when a girl like pretty much has an orgasm. Like I'm pretty sure like she was on the verge of that because she was fucking shaking. Like her legs were, she was like trembling. Like after she was done riding, she was just trembling, just shaking. So I kind of got the message. I'm like, she tapped out, but I was ready to go. And at this point, it was pretty much like about like, it was getting late. It was like 2 a.m. at the time because we were fucking for a cool ass minute. About like, I would say 2 hours easily. So I don't blame her for tapping out, but I was kind of ready to continue to go. But you know, that's that. And I don't really want to make this video too much longer, but I'll kind of like sum it up here. So, you know, we had finished up and she just fell asleep on me pretty much. She had said, I'm tired. You know what I mean? I respected that. And I was honestly tired too, but I was just so hyped, you know what I mean? Cause we was doing some new shit. Like I never ate a girl out. Like I've never had a girl sit on my face before. And that shit had me like feeling some type of way because especially I didn't expect like pussy to taste that good. Excuse my language. That's too freaked out. Okay, we're gonna stop there. So yeah, she tapped out. Long story short, she tapped out on me. No biggie. And then pretty much, you know, we're just laying there, you know what I mean? Just cuddling, like I'm just like hugging on her, shit like that. And she just falls asleep on me. And I just remember kind of laying there for a bit, just like, damn, like, what a fucking night, honestly. Like, that was one of the best nights of my life. And, I mean, we went to breakfast and shit the next morning, but I think I'm gonna cap it there because this is it's almost hitting an hour, 47 minutes. So I don't want to make this video too much longer, so we're gonna end it there. So, you know, if y'all have anything you want to comment on in the comment section, or if you guys want more videos like this, then let me know in the comment section. But have a good day, y'all.